Do not be worried and afraid of a bad report, whether it is the doctor's report, whether it is a financial report, or whether it is a report that is presented at your workplace, at your business, or you are in school and it is a bad report. The grades are not good. Do not be afraid. Do not be worried of that bad report. Whether it's even news that you are hearing on the TV set, do not be afraid. Trust in the Lord. Today's word is from the book of Numbers 13:17 to 33. Numbers 13:17 to 33. And it reads, Then Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said to them, Go up this way into the south, and go up to the mountains, and see what the land is like, whether the people who dwell in it are strong or weak, few or many, whether the land they dwell in is good or bad, whether the cities they inhabit are like camps or stronghold, whether the land is rich or poor, whether there are forests there or not. Be of good courage and bring some of the fruit of the land. Now the time was the season of the first ripe grapes. So they went up and spied out the land from the wilderness of Zin as far as Rehob, near the entrance of Hamath, and they went up through the south and came to Hebron, Ahiman, Sheshai, and Temai, the descendants of Anak, where there now Hebron was built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. Then they came to the valley of Eshcol, and there cut down a branch with one cluster of grapes. They carried it between two of them on a pole. They also brought some of the pomegranates and figs. The place was called the Valley of Eshcol because of the cluster which the men of Israel cut down there. And they returned from spying out the land after 40 days. Now they departed and came back to Moses and Aaron and all the congregation of the children of Israel in the wilderness of Paran. At Kadesh they brought back word to them and to all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. Then they told him and said, We went to the land where you sent us. It truly flows with milk and honey, and this is its fruits. Nevertheless, the people who dwell in the land are strong. The cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south. The Hittites, the Jebusites, and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea along the banks of the Jordan. Then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, Let us go up at once and take possession, for we were able to overcome it. But the men who had gone up with him said, We were not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. They gave the children of Israel a bad report of the land which they had spied out, saying, The land through which we have gone as spies is a land that devours its inhabitants. And all the people whom we saw in it are men of great stature. There we saw the giants, the descendants of Anak from the giants, and we were like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in their sight. My God. These men had gone to spy a land, but as they were coming back, they gave a bad report. They gave a bad report. They said that the land devours its inhabitants. What kind of land is that devours its inhabitants? Some of you have relatives or you know of a land that devours its inhabitants. You have been told never to go into that land. It has even been talked of in the news. It is all over the news. They have told people to evacuate that land because it devours its inhabitants. This was a situation where these men were facing the children of Israel. Remember, God had given them that land. And Moses had sent them out as spies to go and spy in the land, whether it flows with milk and honey, whether it is good or bad, whether it has good fruit. And they told them to bring back the fruit so that they can taste. But these men came up with a bad report. Now they say, 33 says, there we saw the giants. In other words, they saw the Nephilim eye to eye. They saw the giants. The descendants of Anak came from the giants, and we were like grasshoppers in our own sight. And so we were in their sight. Notice, they first saw themselves as grasshoppers before the giants would see them as grasshoppers. They were like grasshoppers. We were like grasshoppers in our own sight, and so we were in their sight. A lot of people have this mentality, a grasshopper mentality, where they see themselves as inferior. They see themselves as nobody. People have not even called you a nobody. People have not even called you inferior. People have not even said that you can do. They have not said anything wrong about you. But you first see yourself as though something is wrong about you. This is what these people saw about themselves. The giants didn't complain, but the people complained. They said that we saw in our own sight that we were grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight. This is a very powerful revelation that I wish somebody could get a hold of it. Today's message is, do not be afraid. Do not be worried of the bad report. When men bring a bad report, yes, it may be true what they have seen. It may be true what is happening. But what is God saying about you? What is God saying? I love the courage of one man. I love the courage of Caleb. Verse 30 says, then Caleb quieted the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and take possession, for we are well able to overcome it. Powerful scriptures. Caleb did not want to hear any story about the giants, how big they were, how mighty they were. He did not want to hear that. He trusted in God. He believed in the word of God. He did not believe in the word and the report of these men who came, these spies. Brothers and sisters, do not believe in the word of other men. Do not believe in the word of other institutions. Believe in what God says about you. Stand on the promises of God, and you will be prosperous in all your ways. Brothers and sisters, I have come to the end of this message. One thing that I'd like you to do is share this message with somebody else. Introduce somebody to this news. And until next time, shalom.